So we come to the very sad page 27 of White Fragility. I am Mark Stewart. I haven't yet been angry. We'll get there. But sad is at its peak here on page 27 when we hear about a field of study called whiteness studies. Now, I hope this is not a large field in modern academia. I went through 4 years of college and 3 years of grad school without knowing this exists. And if it does, I hope it has a very short life. Because even this famed scholar, famed according to Robin DiAngelo, Ruth Frankenberg, is going to position this into meaninglessness. Ruth Frankenberg, a premier white scholar in the field of whiteness studies, describes whiteness as multidimensional. Well, duh. Every color has elements of multi-dimensions because we are humans. And the differences between and among the skin colors is about so insignificant. The big differences in where you're born, who you grew up with, what values you were given, what culture, what religion, what education, they explain humanity. Color explains in modern, global everything, certainly in modern America. It explains very little. And in the end, she'll even admit that saying this about a color is saying that they are just human. It's what I've been saying all along. Every race has the same spectrum of greatness and lowliness as every other race. And that makes us all similar in being just human. All right, the second sad thing is how she defines blacks to make modern African Americans in a very sad predicament. She brings up some exceptions to the generalities. These are famous and highly respected African Americans: Colin Powell, Clarence Thomas, Marco Rubio, Barack Obama. And they're exceptions because they, quote, support the status quo and do nothing to challenge racism. Implying that to be an authentic Black American, you need to challenge the status quo. That's sad. That means instead of African Americans getting along, working within a very good system to make it still better, their job is to take down the system. That is a horrible prescription that unfortunately leftist groups have been taking up. And their takedown of the system is not with eloquence or with persuasion, but with threats and with violence and with stifling of other people's speech. The most un-American of activities. And it's inhabited because people are following this philosophy that if you don't challenge a status quo that seems marginally unfair, in fact, it's quite fair because they should be looking at class instead of race. It's very fair, and when they want to challenge it, they do it with evil tactics. Sad and dangerous, and this is yet another misread. It's wrong. It would be less dangerous if it were truthful and unfortunate, but it's based on untruths. Here's one in the same paragraph. She says, Obama endured insults and resistance previously unheard of. I'm pretty sure that was not true because I know my presidential history and the vitriol with which Grover Cleveland as a candidate, John Adams as an actual president, was nowhere near, was so much more above what Barack Obama might have experienced. And he certainly didn't experience threats or insults because of his skin color. Any threats or insults were because here was a president who was so out of line with mainstream American values over the last 2 centuries. This is a Marxist. This is one who, during the campaign, it was very prominently put how he was at the altar of Jeremiah Wright, an unabashed American hater, yet becomes president. So there's ire, but not for his blackness. It's for his perceived less than Americanism, less traditionalist, and desire to totally change the system. And by the way, he made a great amount of progress in changing the system, and for that, the resentment kind of stayed. By contrast, Bill Clinton had the ire of many traditionalist Americans, okay, in the campaign of 1992. It was clear that this was a adulterer, who draft dodger, pot smoking liar, okay? Not the best qualities to traditional Americans. But by the end of his 8 years, acting quite traditionally as president, that ire went away. Most people would have elected him to a 3rd term. Obama might have been tougher. I think he still would have beaten Trump. But a 3rd term for Obama was less likely in the cards because he kept at, successfully, but he kept gnawing at the American system that traditionalists didn't want to let go of. This is not race related. Once again, erroneous take by an author who has become awfully important, unfortunately so. I'm Mark Stewart.